When you look at that postcard image of Croatia, the sun-drenched coast, the medieval walls in the south, you see beauty, of course,
Yeah.
but you're missing the tension.
You're absolutely right. You miss the internal map that really defines what it means to be Croatian.
And that's the core of what we found in these sources.
It is. We're dealing with a country whose identity, well, it isn't singular at all. It's more of a dynamic, constant interplay between four profoundly different philosophies.
Each one geographically enforced.
Exactly. By the sea, the stone, the field, or the urban center.
So our sources really function as a kind of detailed cultural map, going way beyond a typical travel guide. The mission today is to cut through those generalizations.
And uncover the core operating systems of these regions.
Right, the coast, the intensely stoic interior, which will split into Lika and the Dinaric Alps, the fertile plains of Slavonia, and then the intellectual hub of Zagreb. This deep dive is all about understanding how dramatically life and philosophy can change in, just a short drive.
And we have to start where everything begins and ends. The sea. We're heading to the Adriatic coast, the identity that connects all the parts of the system without really belonging to any single one.
Our sources call the Adriatic the binder of the system, which, that's a perfect description, isn't it?
It's perfect. It runs the entire length of the country, yet every coastal town just sees it as this shared thing.
Not a private resource.
Never. It dictates livelihood, sure, but it also dictates the fundamental rhythm of life itself.
It creates cohesion, but it's a kind of cohesion that demands flexibility.
Yes. If you look at the history, the sea was never just a body of water. It was the highway of the ancient world. You had the early Greek and Roman settlements, then the millennia-long dominance of the Venetian Republic.
So the coast was essentially a corridor.
A major corridor. And this long-term exposure to outside influence, to trade, to conflict, it demanded a strategy of coexistence.
Which results in a philosophy of patience and acceptance.
Yeah.
It's all about seasonal living, right? Recognizing the sea gives.
And the sea takes. Exactly. You see this not just in fishing, but in how the entire social life is structured.
And this is where we get to that essential coastal philosophy, all summarized in one word.
Pomelo. It literally means take it easy, but the sources go so much deeper than that.
It's not about being lazy.
Not at all. It's a strategic state of mind. It is the absolute antithesis of urgency.
It's interesting how they frame it. Pomelo is a tool for long-term survival in what was, a very high-traffic area.
If you move too fast, you break things, you burn out.
Or you miss the rhythm of the tides. It's about leading slowly, loving deeply, and just holding the community together, sort of like the sea holds the shore.
And the culture reflects this quiet strength through simplicity. Just look at the cuisine.
Oh, yeah.
It's defined by fresh, incredible seafood fish, scampi, mussels, but the preparation is almost minimalist. A splash of good olive oil, a little garlic, some fresh herbs.
The cooking itself honors the ingredient. It's like saying the sea already did all the hard work.
We just need to respect the flow. And you see that respect in the traditions, too. The Rabarsk Feshi, those fishermen's festivals.
And the ritual of the Riva walk, the evening promenade, they aren't just leisure activities.
No, they're acts of collective affirmation. They remind everyone that they are part of this flow.
And the music, klapa, seems to capture that perfectly.
It really does. It's a cappella singing with these tight, multi-part harmonies. And what's so fascinating is that the music just naturally projects over water without needing any complex instruments.
It's melodic, sometimes melancholic, reflecting that longing, but also a deep sense of belonging.
It's human voices echoing the movement of the sea.
So Pomelo isn't just a mood. It's a centuries-old policy of non-interference almost. It's accepting you can guide the boat, but you can't stop the tide.
Right, so we've established the strength you can find in flow, but what happens when that flow meets unyielding, cold, hard stone? The philosophy has to completely invert itself. To understand the rest of the country, we have to follow that tension inland, where the philosophy changes from move slowly to stand firm.
And that transition it's dramatic. You go from the expansive open sea to this deeply enclosed, sparsely populated interior.
The Dinaric Alps. And here, the challenge isn't adapting to constant flow, it's surviving constant resistance. The mountains demand endurance.
And this endurance shows up in two distinct regional sub-identities.
Both shaped by that incredibly harsh karst geography where rain just disappears into underground rivers and the soil is scarce. The environment itself forced people to rely only on what they could carry and protect.
So let's start with Lika, the northern part of this interior. This is a land of huge mountains, deep forests, and long, brutal winters. Its identity is forged in silence.
Absolutely. The culture is built entirely on self-reliance, survival, and, well, deep restraint.
Lika's long history as a military borderland, a Vojna Krajina under the Habsburgs, meant its main role was defensive.
You couldn't be showy or wasteful. You had to be prepared to endure long sieges, both literally and metaphorically. This is where we get that cultural ideal of strength without performance.
You show pride not through display, but through quiet competence.
Exactly.
The motto for Lika really says it all. Endure first, speak later. That stoicism is reflected in the famous people from there, like Nikola Tesla, born in Smiljan. The sources even say Lika is a place where thunder does not sing, but where waiting and quiet death are known. That's a stark, deeply introspective landscape.
And the food is just an extension of that. Lika's cuisine is pure survival, simple, filling, designed to last the winter. We're talking about the famous Lika potatoes, smoked meats, heavy rye bread.
There's an implied motto in the food itself.
Nothing wasted, nothing sweet. Every calorie is accounted for, every resource is respected.
And you contrast that with music. It's minimal, often sparse, featuring the gussel.
That single-stringed instrument.
Right, accompanying these epic songs. The music is so narrative. It's just one voice carrying centuries of memory, speaking with dignity, never with frivolous volume. It's what the stone remembers.
Now, if we move a bit south, we hit the Dinaric hinterlands, the country's hard spine. If Lika is about quiet stoicism, the hinterlands are about active discipline and toughness.
This is where strength is overtly forged, unyielding, resolute.
The geography is even more dramatic, high elevation, dominated by sheer rock faces and these powerful winds. The identity here values honor, directness, and discipline.
So respect is earned through action.
Through action, not lineage or wealth. The historical context demanded this. The conflicts on the Ottoman Habsburg frontier were continuous, cementing a culture that needed high organization and uncompromising resolve.
He created a people defined by their loyalty and their readiness.
And you can hear it in their traditional sound. It's not just reflective. It's often martial, ceremonial, and rhythmic. It features call-and-response mountain chants, often with that gussel again, focusing on legacy and the deeds of ancestors.
The music provides a structure, a cadence for that collective resolve.
So, while Lika says, be quiet and survive, the hinterlands philosophy is much simpler. Stand firm.
Their ultimate statement of identity, their chorus line, is, we don't bend, we endure. It's the ultimate challenge to that coastal philosophy of flow.
It is.
Okay. We've gone from flexible water to unyielding stone. Now, imagine a complete and total philosophical reset. We're leaving the mountains and plunging into the flat, fertile black earth of the eastern plains.
The shift is conceptually profound. We're moving from a geography that forced scarcity and defense to one that provides immense abundance, generosity, and hospitality.
Welcome to Slavonia, eastern Croatia, the nation's breadbasket.
This region, nestled between the Drava, Sava, and Danube rivers, is defined by agriculture. The core identity is just warm, grounded, and welcoming.
Unlike the coastal cities built for commerce or the mountains built for defense, Slavonia is built for community.
Historically, it has this rich history of early Slavic settlement, then complex multicultural influences under the Habsburgs. And despite suffering terribly during the 1990s war, the tradition of the land, the productivity of the fields, always remained the dominant cultural force.
The core vibe here is emotional inheritance.
That's it. The land is passed down, but so is the obligation of generosity.
And the food illustrates this perfectly. If coastal food is simple and light, Slavonian food is hearty, filling, and deeply social.
You never make food for one, you make it for the whole village. We're talking rich meat stews like obanak and the famous incredibly spicy dry-cured sausage kulin.
And the preparation of kulin is a perfect cultural marker itself.
Oh, it is. It's a lengthy, precise process. It involves the community gathering, mixing, smoking, curing. It's not just food. It's a commitment to shared memory and future celebration. The whole process reinforces the idea that life's hardest work gets rewarded with shared abundance.
It's a celebratory culture. The signature sound is tamburica music.
That's string-based folk music played on those small, mandolin-like instruments.
It's inherently joyful, emotional, and communal. You hear it at every wedding, harvest festival, and major folklore event like the Kakovici Vizovi.
And you rarely hear a single tamburica. You hear an entire ensemble, reinforcing that the joy has to be shared.
The implied cultural motto of Slavonia is genuinely beautiful and simple.
If you have enough, you share. Generosity is mandatory because the land is provided.
And their hospitality. It's not just a pleasantry, it's an emotional promise of belonging. If you get invited to a multi-day wedding feast, the chorus line you'll hear is, "Sit down, eat more, you're family now."
You're immediately grounded and adopted into the collective memory of the community. It's a powerful contrast.
Right. The coast asks for patience, the mountains for fortitude, and the plains offer unconditional acceptance.
Radical generosity born from the earth itself.
So we've covered flow, endurance, and shared abundance. What happens when you combine all these things, strip away the direct geographical pressure, and replace them with abstract ideas?
You arrive at the thinking center, Zagreb.
Zagreb, the northwestern capital, functions as the country's intellectual, artistic, and civic heart.
This city is defined not by powerful nature, but by people, ideas, and these carefully maintained routines. It's the place where the nation processes, debates, and questions itself.
The identity is highly intellectual. It blends sophisticated old-world manners, a legacy from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, with modern creativity and critical thought.
The defining characteristics here are observation, dry humor, and conversation. The sources describe Zagreb as the country's thinking brain.
And the foundation of this intellectualism is ritual. The defining ritual is the cafe culture.
Yes, coffee is not a rush. It is a critical process. It can easily take an hour or 2 hours.
And it's deliberate slowness. It's a kind of pomelo adapted for the city. But it's not relaxation, it's observation.
It's the mechanism the city uses to critically process the world around it. You also see that focus on quiet processing in the daily evening walks, the epica, in the city center.
It's about being seen, sure, but it's more about watching the machinery of civic life and absorbing social cues. The pace forces thought over reaction.
And if you look at the city's origin, it's a perfect metaphor for its identity. Zagreb started as 2 medieval settlements, Gradec, the tradesman's hill, and Kaptol, the religious center.
Separated by a stream and often in conflict.
Until, as the story goes, they eventually shook hands. That's the city's philosophical DNA. A perpetual truce, a structured debate carved in stone.
And that balance of debate is where the famous dry humor and irony come in.
Irony is a great defensive mechanism and a social lubricant. In intellectual centers that have historically been under various empires, it lets people critique social structures without, outright confrontation.
Which is perfectly reflected in the music that came out of Zagreb. It became the country's music incubator.
Fostering thoughtful, lyrical genres, rock, indie, hip-hop, experimental sounds. Artists like Azra and Hoster were known for these highly complex, socially aware lyrics.
One source notes that in Zagreb, words matter more than volume. The substance of the debate is everything. The local language nugget here, influenced by the Kajkavian dialect, is the common question. Kaj.
Which just means what? But in Zagreb, it's not just asking for repetition, it's a philosophical stance. It suggests constant critical inquiry.
Which leads to the city's unofficial motto, often framed as, "Let's talk about it."
But the more actionable, everyday encapsulation of the Zagreb rhythm is their own chorus line. Kaj ajmo coffee first. Inquiry, then action, but never before the routine of thought is complete. #outro.
What an incredible cultural synthesis. We've moved across this country and found 4 deep-seated, powerful philosophies that are constantly interacting.
Creating that fascinating tension we mentioned at the start. To summarize it, the national identity is built on this fascinating matrix of needs.
The Adriatic coast demands flow, pomolo.
The mountains require endurance. We don't bend, we endure.
For fertile plains, value sharing. Your family now.
And that capital prioritizes thought. Coffee first. These are really the pillars of the Croatian soul.
And the genius of the culture is that none of these really cancels the others out. They temper them. Coastal patience prevents urban thought from becoming too rigid.
And the generosity of the plains softens the mountain's stoicism. It's a constant productive argument. We've seen that the coastal philosophy is encapsulated in pomelo move like the tide.
While the capital's attitude, representing its intellectual drive, is Kaj ajmo coffee first.
Right.
So as you integrate this knowledge of Croatia's inner workings, consider this final provocative thought. Which of these 2 core phrases, the coastal rhythm of patience or the urban intellectual query, do you think provides the strongest, most essential guidance for the direction of modern Croatian society as it faces the complexities of the 21st century? Is the answer in the flow or in the thoughtful conversation?